Hello, happy Sunday. So I wanted to come in and talk about why you need human design. I've been posting a little bit about it and about why it's important to study it and why one should, I have hair sticking out at the top, why you should make it a part of your life and why it's important. Oh, sorry, sitting in the bed. And I just kind of wanted to like expound on human design more and like explain it and help people to kind of understand why it's important. So I just want to be clear, I'm not a human design reader. I do not read human design charts. I will post on this live after I'm done in the comments some people that you can refer to as well as some resources about human design. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. But I want to talk about just why I've been posting about it and why I've been sharing about it. So one of my good friends and my energy healing specialist slash therapist has she was the one who introduced me to human design. And the funny story about it is she and I have the same aura type. So human design, when you pull your chart, it talks about your aura type, which is like how you are as a person, your energy type. And it talks about, hold on, me. Is there a way I can, okay. Why, it talks about your aura type, your energy type, and then it also talks about your incarnation lines. Hey, Erica. Your incarnation lines, which is essentially why you incarnated into this physical body at this time, why you came to planet Earth at this time. And it also talks about your authority. So your authority is how you should respond to things. So, for instance, somebody who has a sacral authority should respond to things based on a feeling or a sensation that they get in their sacral chakra, which is essentially your genital area or your perineal area. I'll use myself as an example. I have a splenic authority, so I need to listen to my spleen so I get the sensation kind of like over here in my body. And I have felt that before, so I know what that feels like. But that was something that I realized after I started studying human design. I was like, oh, that's what that sensation is. So human design, the reason why I talk about it and the reason why I've been sharing like it's important to learn it and as much as you can, like for instance, I do astrology, so I understand astrology on a deeper level than some people, but anyone can research like the planets or their sun sign or their moon sign and like what that means to them. So that's kind of like where I am with human design. Like I said, I'm not a human design reader. I'm unable to like fully interpret it, but I have studied my aura type, I've studied my authority type, and I've studied my incarnation lines. So the reason why I talk about it is because human design teaches you why you're here and what you're here to do and how you're supposed to do it. And a lot of people have questions like, well, what is my life purpose? And like, what am I supposed to do? And why is it that every time I do this doesn't work? Or when I do this, it works really well. And human design breaks that down for you. Like, it incorporates astrology and incorporates the I Ching, which is a Chinese divination system, and another type of system. And it also teaches you how to eat and stuff like that too. I'm still learning about that. But the reason why I tell people to study it is because it will teach you, like it also talks about your not self. And your not self is basically you fucking up. Like it will explain like when you're thinking this way or when you're behaving this way, you're not operating the way God intended for you to operate. And so it's going to create more challenges for you. And this is a good way to operate, which is the way God taught you or put you here to operate, so that things will be easier for you, so that things will work out for you, so that you can actually live out your life purpose. So that's why I am a fan of human design, why I've been studying mine, why I'm so thankful that my friend Rob put me on to human design, is because it has helped me to learn so much about myself. And it also teaches something that I know is very important to me and has benefited me a lot, and that's self-awareness. So it's like, if you know that when you have a certain sensation, or when you get into certain situations and they don't feel good to you, that is self-awareness that doesn't work for you. So I'll give an example. So my human design type is, I'm a projector. And some famous projectors are like Barack Obama, Kanye West, Cardi B, Ariana Grande, Marilyn Monroe, Elizabeth Taylor. And one of the things with us is we are not designed to quote unquote work in the way that most people have been trained to work, which is, you get a job, you work 9 to 5, and you're supposed to grind, you're supposed to work hard. That actually doesn't work for projectors. So the harder I work, the more challenging things will be. The more I put my energy into having like a traditional job, which I have a profession, I have a few professions, but they don't require me to go into an office and like work really hard and like push. That's going to drain me, and it's going to put me in my not self, which is for projectors is bitterness. And so when I'm in bitterness, it makes things more challenging for me. And so okay, Jada Collins is a resource that Jerica gave us here. And so when I work like a generator or manifesting generator, who are two different types of human designs that are put here to work, it not only does it drain me, but I'm usually underpaid and I'm usually ignored. And the thing about being a projector is we are actually supposed to be seen, and we're supposed to be recognized, and we're supposed to be successful. So of course, if I'm not getting that energy from other people, it's going to make me more stressed. It's going to make me bitter. It's going to make me unhappy. And we are supposed to be happy. So, we're supposed to have like a childlike joy. We're supposed to spend most of our time in play, which could even be us doing things that are, like, for instance, say if I was a professional dancer. That could be a sense of joy for me. It could also bring me money, but I'm supposed to spend my time in that space of joy, because that's how I charge my energy. And projectors are meant to guide other people. So when we are recognized by other people, we are invited by other people. We are able to guide them and give them things that are very lucrative for them to help bring their joy. Like, we are able to usually help. We see things that other people don't see, because we see the overall overarching theme. I was told once that we are like lighthouses. So we see the overall arching theme of situations, and then we're able to guide somebody, and we're usually able to give guidance that is very lucrative for the person. We're usually able to tell people what their life purpose is, what they're supposed to be doing. So that works with me doing readings for people, because I'm able to see the situation from a overall perspective and give guidance. But the thing with projectors is we're not supposed to initiate. So we respond to people inviting us to things. And it's not like just inviting us to go places, but inviting us like, hey, can I have your opinion on this? Versus me being like, look, this is what you need to do. That is me being in my not self. I'm supposed to wait for the invitation to give guidance. Not supposed to just give guidance with my mouth. And then when I started to study my incarnation lines, I also saw that one of the ways that I guide people is by living by example. So I know I've had people tell me like, girl, when I see you post certain things, or when I see you do certain things, or you talk about certain things, it really inspired me to do this. It inspired me to live like this. So that's me living in my projector form. Which makes sense, because if I was bogged down with a job like where I had to work very hard and I was kind of like behind a desk and I really couldn't like be seen by people, then how are they supposed to know what I'm doing? How are they supposed to see the example that I'm leading and living? Although people at my job or people that I run into may see that, it puts me out of my energy. So yeah, so things like that. And one of my children is a projector, which is a blessing because I'm able to guide him in a way where I'm not gonna like put him to work as a generator as my mom did, because she didn't know anything about human design. My mom is also a manifesting generator, so she has more energy than I have. So she wouldn't really understand when I would be like, I need to take a nap, girl. Like, I don't have the energy. You know, she felt like I was being like lazy. A lot of people see projectors as lazy because, again, we may not feel inclined to be like a mogul and like work, although we can be moguls, but we don't feel inclined to like work really hard for our mogulship. We need more rest than other people. So it's a blessing for me to have a projector child in my life because he also gives me guidance, but it's also that, you know, he doesn't have like a generator parent that doesn't get it, although there are generator and manifesting generator parents who get it. He doesn't have somebody that's like pushing him around to do things. And he even told me like that when he's around my mom, sometimes he'd be like, she asked me to do too many different things, mom. Like, she asked me to, and I get it because it's not his job to be bossed around. That's not a projector's job. And I do have a child that is a manifesting generator, and he just has a super amount of energy, and he can be a little bit bossy, but that's part of his design. But I understand that, for instance, if I need him to get some sleep, I need to like let him turn up. I need to let him go to the park. I need to let him run. Versus my projector child, he may be like I really never had to worry about him sleeping because that's what we do. We like to rest. We have to recharge. We don't have the same energy as other signs. I don't really know a lot about reflectors, but I know that they are like the critics of the world. And they also kind of like projectors have to wait to be invited to criticize and give their constructive criticism. Generators are the workers, and some people even say the slaves of the world, but it's their job to work and it's their job to build things. You know, they're the architects of society. So projectors and generators work very well together. We can make really good money together, but it's like, as far as like doing the work part or like making the phone calls and like doing, that is the generator's job, and the projector's job is more of like I think it's best if we go this route. I think it's best if we have this theme for our business. I think it's best if we choose these colors for our branding colors and stuff like that. Like, we're able to just be like more of a consultant or guide, and then the generator does the building part, and that's usually how we are able to work together. Also, there's also another group called the manifestors, and I don't know a whole bunch about manifestors, but I know that they are, like their name describes, they're good at manifesting things and like making things happen. And each theme, and it'll tell you when you pull your human design body graph, it tells you what your not self is. So for instance, generators, there's this frustration. So if you're a generator and you're frustrated, it's because you're not operating in your authority, which your authority is also on your body graph chart. So how do you study your human design? Like, I don't know what any of this stuff means, girl. What are you talking about? I have found that YouTube has been a really good resource for me because there are a lot of human design readers who will post videos about the different gates. So I've looked up my different gates because it tells you the numbers of your gates on your body graph chart, and had someone to explain. I watch a video to explain what they mean. There's books on human design. Some of the people I like are, her name is Leanne. Why am I drawing a blank? I'll have to like post one of her videos in the comments. Leanne something or another. I'll put it on there. She's from Canada. And then China Brooks is really good as well. I like all of China Brooks stuff, but she talks about human design as well. And as shared here, Jada Collins is another resource. And AC Brown, and it's AYCEE Brown. She's also really, really good with human design. Yeah, the numbers used to confuse me too, and they still kind of do, but again, I had to kind of just read them. So like, one of mine is to be the caregiver nurturer. So I've learned that that's part of my human design, which makes sense. That aligns with my astrology chart. It aligns with really everything that I know about systems that teach you about yourself, but it also teaches how I'm supposed to care for myself first, put myself first, and make sure that I take care of my physical and emotional body before I help anyone else. And I've actually, it's funny because I always tell people when they talk about emotional wellness and stuff, I always tell people, make sure you put your oxygen mask on before you put your oxygen mask on anyone else. You know, the airlines teach you that. And it's so funny because I was reading about doing some research on that particular gate, which talks about being the caregiver nurturer, and somebody mentioned that, and I laughed to myself, like, that's something I tell people, so that it makes sense that I say that, because it's a lesson that I've had to learn, and it's also something that that I tell other people. And it aligns with another gate that I have in my incarnation cross that I am supposed to live by example. So it's just kind of funny because that's something that I've learned through my life that I teach other people. So that's something that I'm aligned with and is a part of my purpose here on earth. Also, when you look at your human design chart, it will show you there are certain there are shapes on your body graph chart, and some of them are colored in, and those are your defined centers, and those are centers that are like more like they're very important for you to pay attention to. So for instance, I'm a projector, right? And so I'm not really supposed to thank you, Crystal. I'm not really supposed to, again, initiate or invite myself to things, right? I'm supposed to be invited. Well, I have a defined throat center, so I like to talk. And as I'm doing a live right now, that's part of me having a defined throat center. I've always been very vocal. Even as a child, I started reading very early. Like, I knew how to read before I went to school and stuff like that. And I actually kind of made my grandmother teach me how to read because I wanted to know how to read. I used to sing. So that's a part of like my defined throat center. So I don't really have any fear around talking, public speaking, because I do enjoy those things. And that's part of, again, that it just emphasizes like me speaking, me talking is a part of my life purpose. I need to use that. And I don't know what my other defined center is. I think one of mine is my willpower center. And I've always had people tell me, like, you're just really brave and you just kind of go for it. But that center is defined for me. So I really can't, like, when I feel stuck, you know, shit, I'm about to find a solution. You know, I just have that natural willpower, which aligns with me being a Scorpio sun. So the colors that are defined in your body graph are things that you need to pay attention to and are God's gifts for you to use in this lifetime. And the gates are how you use them. You know what I mean? And your aura type and your emotional authority is like how you behave and how you're received by other people and how you're supposed to really go about life. So that's essentially why I talk about human design and why I say it's so important and why I say you should study your astrology chart as well, because it teaches you about yourself and it teaches you self-awareness. So I know when I'm bitter, right, because I'm a projector, or I know because I have Chiron near my moon, that, you know, I can give too much. I know that I'm not supposed to just force myself on people and everybody don't need my damn advice. You know, there's things that I have had to learn in this lifetime, but had I known about human design or had a parent that knew about astrology and human design, they could have taught some of those things to me. And maybe life would have been a little bit easier for me, but it's cool. We are learning, you know, this is life, you know, and I'm sure I learned those things at the right time. And one of the things they say when you start learning human design is you start deconditioning. And that makes sense because you start to learn about yourself and you're like, oh, I've been doing this whole time. This hasn't been working for me. So like me, always trying to like find like a career path that is defined and is socially acceptable. That's against my human design. It's against my astrology. But again, I would have never known that. I would have never had that awareness about myself had I not studied my natal chart, and had I not studied human design, or had a human design reading from somebody to teach me that those things do not I'm just not supposed, there are just certain things I'm just not supposed to do. They're not good for me. So if somebody comes to me and they're like, you really need to go to grad school if you want to make more money, and you really need to because I've had people tell me that you need to grind. You don't put forth enough effort in this and this and this. I know, even though that person probably means well, and it's probably just trying to help me, that doesn't work for me, and I can let that advice just like go over my head, and I don't really pay much attention to it because I know that doesn't work for me. You know what I mean? It's kind of like somebody telling you need to eat bread and you're allergic to wheat. You have celiac disease or some shit like that. If you know that, if you have a diagnosis of who you're supposed to be as a person and what God put you here for, when something resonates with you and it makes sense to you, or when somebody's telling you something and, nah, player, that ain't really for me. And that's the power of being self-aware. And I actually was talking to my therapist about this today. So that kind of like makes that full circle. When something doesn't work for you. Because I was telling her about how as a kid, there will be certain things I'd be like, I ain't doing that. And as I got older and people started to tell me, you need to listen to your elders, which in some respect you should. But I always had that strong willpower as a kid. And I knew when things didn't work for me. But as an adult, I let other people's opinions sway me from that and not truly listen to myself. And so I kind of had to come back and realize, like, no. Okay, sorry, you guys. But when things don't work for me, or they go against my sense of self and things that work for me, that I should not do them. Because again, that's always been my true nature. And like I said, I got away from that, from being conditioned by society. And so, like I said, there is a deconditioning process once you learn about yourself, and human design helps to facilitate that process. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say about human design, and why I emphasize it, and why I say it's important in addition to learning astrology, learning your natal chart. So I'll drop some of those resources here. Also, if you're interested in learning astrology, I do have a course that you can learn about astrology and be able to piece your natal chart together, and also to learn about yourself, because there are things in your natal chart that will tell you, don't do that, girl, that's a mess. And there are things in your natal chart that will tell you this is a good idea. And so, like I said, using both of the systems, I think, work really well. And you just learn a lot about yourself, and it will keep you from doing dumb stuff. It'll keep you from having dumb conversations. It'll keep you from doing jobs that are going to drain you. And it just teaches you self-awareness and how to live your best life. So that's what I wanted to share about human design. You guys have a great rest of your Sunday. And if I can assist you with anything, please visit me at glamalchemy.com or inbox me. That works too. So thanks so much, and have a good Sunday.